All right, I have been promising for a while that I was going to bring you guys out to my garden. It's a hot mess right now, but this is my garden. All right, this is my newer side here. I haven't done anything with this. It's really not planted. I have a couple little things in there, perennials, but I'm doing the hugelkultur method, and I'm sure I've mispronounced that, but you use all of your yard waste and you know, compostable things as the bottom, and then you put soil on top of it. So that's basically where I'm at right now, putting stuff down so that I can eventually get some soil put onto this. And Greta's over there acting crazy, and Jaeger's over here acting crazy. So this is my actual garden, and I haven't done a ton with it, but this big guy right here is Elecampane. It is, I guess, kind of the cousin to a sunflower. It has not opened up yet, but it will. You can kind of see there are some like buds up in here that are going to open up soon. Beautiful yellow, like finger-like flowers that will come out on that. It is a medicinal herb. See down here, I've got yarrow, 2 yarrows. Those are also medicinal herbs. And not that you can really see it, but underneath the Elecampane leaves, I have a ton of oregano that needs to be harvested and dehydrated, which I will be doing very soon. I'll take you along if you want to see how I do that. In here we have a basil plant. This is, I believe it's a yellow crookneck and a weed. We got to get that weed out of there. More grass weed. All right, we've got another basil over here, which I will probably top these off because they tend to bush out and get more full when you top these off. Because these little nodules in here, they create more branches. This I need to pin up. This is a tomatillo, which I like to make yellow salsa out of. And it looks like, I don't know if we have splitting. That might be. We've had an insane amount of rain recently. So it looks like that base is splitting. It smells delicious. This is a new plant for me. This is a vine peach or a vine melon. It's in the melon family, but they call them vine peaches. I had planted a whole row of them, but only this one survived because we had frost after I direct sow planted these, and yeah, that's the only one that's survived. I don't know what's going to happen with it, but hopefully something will happen with it. You can see more of this Elecampane here. It is just tall. It is significantly taller than my 5 feet 8 inches. I would put it at probably close to 8 feet. Not too shabby. All right, these you can tell either bugs or rabbits have been getting them. Another basil, because I like basil. These are 2 jalapeno plants. And look, another weed. We try to keep the weeds under control, but it doesn't always work. I had at one point an echinacea there, but between the deer and the rabbits, that one's toast. All right, this is where I start to get really happy. So all of these along this trellis, these are rampicante. It is a type of Italian zucchini, and they're massive. I have some that I planted sooner that you'll see the results of. These grow extremely well in my area, and I don't understand why more people don't plant these, because if you have zucchinis that are susceptible to squash vine borer, these are not, and they don't get bothered by the squash bugs. So those are nice. These here, these are all tomatoes that were volunteer, and you know, if God and nature wanted to plant those here, who am I to take them out? So I'm going to keep those. And you can kind of see I have some little baby tomatoes growing, like right in here. And there is a basil plant under there. You can see the little basil hanging out there, and I got another basil over here. I'm getting used to a new camera, so bear with me on that one. So that's another basil plant. But all of these tomatoes, these are volunteers, and I'm not mad about that. We have a few different varieties of things here. This is a grape tomato. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but they're like orange grape-sized tomatoes. I actually planted this for my dad, so I can't wait for it to start producing. And we've got some like little tiny yellow leaves, which means we'll have tomatoes soon. These are California Wonder bell peppers here and here. They've been munched on by bugs. You can tell by the leaves here. Another basil. And if you wonder why I do so much basil, it's for two reasons. One, I like to dehydrate it and make my own seasonings, but it also throws the smell off of the pests. Not that deer and rabbits in nature are pests, but when they eat your garden, they're kind of pest-like. All right, here we have a potato plant. This has been growing for years. I always end up missing some of the potatoes when I dig them up, and then more grow in its place. So, you know, endless supply of tomato or potatoes. This mess here, this is out of control. This is all spearmint. And I think at the end of the year, I'm going to dig this out and plant it into pots because it's kind of taken over. It was a tiny plant last year, and they grow through rhizomes under the ground, so they spread. So I will be cutting this out at the end of the year and just potting all of it. But I will dehydrate this and I make tea out of it. So, I mean, I'm not mad at having a lot of it. I just don't want it to take over my whole garden. And Jaeger's letting you know that he's here. All right, I've got, this is a volunteer green bean. Over here is some kind of pepper. I don't remember which. I had green beans along here, but the rabbits pretty much got those. It happens. All right, we've got parsley going to seed here. Parsley is biennial, so that means it will seed every 2 years. So I'm letting it do that. And once these seed, I'm just going to drop the seeds right down into the ground so they can come back next year. You can see at the bottom, I planted 2 years worth of seeds. So I planted some last year so I would have like seeds for this year, but I also planted some this year so that those will seed next year. Just, you know, the endless supply. I'm a big fan of perennial plants, and if I can do stuff like this where they reseed themselves annually, it makes my life a little bit easier. All right, these are different types of peppers that I still need to plant. It's just been busy, and you can see the deer and the rabbit damage on this green bean. They just come in and eat whatever they want. Tons of tomatoes I still have to get planted, but you'll see why I haven't done that yet. All right, I've got different types of peppers here. And at one point I had a marker for it, but the sun faded it out. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 over here. That is a volunteer tomatillo. The rabbits have been munching on that one. All right, here's where the jungle starts. Look at this. These are all volunteer tomatoes. They're crazy. They're out of control. All right, more basil. I definitely need to top these off. You can see where I've topped it off before, and then these shoots grow out. So then I'll probably top it off here. And in the crook, you can see there's more leaves. So then this will bush out. Then this will get tall and bushy, which is what I like. There is some form of pepper plant down here. But look, you can see little tomatoes starting to grow. And they're volunteer tomatoes, so I didn't have to do anything for them. I don't know if you're going to be able to see past my cilantro that's going to seed, but I do have cucumbers in here. My neighbor's dog. It's like, who are you talking to, lady? But let's see, we got a cucumber down in here. We're going to pick that, and I'm going to have this today. Nice. I like that. We've got one that was probably not pollinated properly growing there. Well, we'll pick that one tomorrow. But not a whole lot of other cucumbers in here, but you can see like more tomatoes up in there. And these little balls here, these are actually my cilantro going to seed. And it's tall. It's kind of crazy. My echinacea, beautiful. Pollinators love them. And my dog likes to chew on it. Jaeger's in here. But these are medicinal. I haven't used them that way, but I will. I've got another volunteer tomatillo in here, some weeds down in the bottom. But this is all my cilantro that's gone to seed because we've had some over 100-degree days here. A volunteer tomato growing out of the ground outside the garden. Oh well. But see this? The dark seeds here? These are mature, so I'll come in and I'll pull these out and I will just toss them right down in and more cilantro will grow. More tomatoes. Now this is above my head. Like I said, I'm 5'8". I am not short, and these are going above my head. And you can see that I have these trellises here. Hopefully you can see those. You'll see it more in a second when I get to my other zucchini. These are 16-foot cattle panels, and I have them arched. They go all the way over to here, which is kind of cool. Jaeger is grazing like he's a cow. Oh, I think I've just spotted another cucumber plant mixed in with all of the tomatoes. That's a little out of control. I will come in and thin this out. Just today's not that day, but tons of volunteer tomatoes. Not mad at it. All right, this mess here is all peppermint. Peppermint down here. You can see I've cut some when my stepbrother and sister-in-law were in town. I cut a ton for them so they could take it home, dehydrate it, make tea. But then I've also got these beauties. These are Egyptian walking onions, and these little bulbs can be replanted for more onions. I have tons of them in here. They're perennial. They come back year after year. I love them. I cut these as like green onions. I make onion powder out of them. I just love it. The base grows almost like a shallot. I'm holding on to the cucumber. This is a weed. This is something we do not want in here. So I'm going to yank this baby out. Didn't do a great job, but I got the base of it. But you can see, hopefully down in there, how the onions grow. Those are massive. Ooh, I've got bunches of tomatoes in there. We're going to have some fun making some sauce this year. All right, let's move over here. We're getting closer to the end. More volunteer tomatoes. This big guy here is actually a volunteer tomatillo plant. I love my tomatillos. I've got some tomatillos in here. All sorts of goodies. I'm loving this. All right, lots of dill mixed in here because the deer like to come in here. They keep knocking down my fence. You can see I have zip ties trying to keep those buggers out, but they still get in. So I plant a lot of dill and it helps mask the scent of the good stuff. But yeah, I got lots and lots. And this is my favorite. And I apologize for the state of my garden because it's a mess. But I have lemon balm here, which I also make tea out of, a nice medicinal herb. There's some chives down here. And you will see, this is one of my favorite plants. This is the zucchinis I was talking about. These are rampicante. I also have done tromboncino. They're cousins. The size of this is massive. I'm going to put this cucumber up next to it. This is a standard size cucumber. Look at that. It is like the size of a baseball bat. It is huge, like absolutely huge. And the nice thing about these, if you pick them when they're like this, they taste just like a slightly sweeter zucchini, a little more firm on the inside than a zucchini. But if you let these ripen, they will turn almost into the flavor of a butternut squash and will overwinter the same as any other winter squash. So this does double duty. I absolutely love this plant. I will always grow a version of it. And yeah, this is a staple. You can see there's one here that did not get fully pollinated. That's going to go to Jaeger. He likes to eat these. And then I think there's another one over here that did not get fully pollinated. So we'll just cut off those icky ends and then Jaeger will chew on them. But this, I love this thing. You can see the trellis now, how it goes. There's another one that's growing up and over. I love this one so much. I will be out here doing some more garden work, but right now This is just where it's at. And I know this is kind of like messy looking here, but the reason I did this is because the deer were like knocking this fence down or trying to come over it, which is hard to see. But if deer don't have a place that they feel comfortable landing, they won't jump. So I put all these weird things here to try to visually deter them from jumping into my garden. So that's why it looks so chaotic here. All right, we've got English thyme down here, which is a perennial. Love it. Lots more dill. I've got several varieties of pepper plants here. And let's see, down here, a brand new rosemary. This one is another basil. And this is why I plant the dill and everything else. Do you see how chewed up this is? This is black-eyed Susan. It should be taller than my echinacea, and the deer and the rabbits just keep gnawing it down to the ground. It's giving it a better root system, but I really would prefer that they not chew everything up. More volunteer tomatoes. You can see some baby tomatoes growing there, but look, you can see where they've chewed them off. Little stinkers, tomatillos, lots of good stuff. And this is the jungle from the back. It's crazy. So this this garden, I want to say it's like 45 to 50 feet long, and I can fit quite a bit in here. I probably could fit more than I have in here. It's a time thing. And then the one that's a hot mess on this other side that needs a whole lot of work, it's a mirror of the one that's growing. And then, I don't know if you can see, I have these cutouts in here. And over the part that sticks out is where I have 6 trellises that go from one bed to the next. So it's a little chaotic out here. I'm going to be working hard on it this year and see what I can do. All right, we're going to flip it around. Yeah, I look crazy. It's early in the morning, and I got my stuff, and I'm going to be spending a whole lot of time out here this summer. I'll bring you along if you guys are interested in seeing it. This channel is going to be just my day-to-day life, and that's why I got this new camera. So hopefully it will be steadier than me trying to carry my cell phone, because I actually have it on a gimbal, and we'll just see how it goes. I'm going to try and get out of the garden here. You can see I have this mesh, and I have it overlapping so that the deer don't get in. All right, that is everything for my first official garden tour. Like I said, it's a hot mess, but it's my hot mess, and it provides food for me and my family, and I'm not mad at it. Oh, I did forget to show you what was on this one side. I'm going to turn it around, and I'm outside the fence, but you guys can still see it. So here I have a comfrey plant that is perennial. That will grow up and be huge, and there's some volunteer tomatoes next to that. Comfrey will pull nutrients from the ground, and you can chop it and drop it, and it actually helps fertilize your garden. That's why I got that one. Whole lot of mess down here. Whole lot of mess. I've got some volunteer tomatoes over here and some green beans, which the bunnies have been chewing on. And I've got some volunteer tomatoes over here and a whole lot of weeds. That all has to be cleaned up. But you can see in here where, like, when we have storms or trim anything, we put the wood down, and I will weed everything, but there's like beat up boxes there I need to take tape off of. And I'm going to come in and fill all of that. Shredded paper, those kinds of things, cardboard. And then I will get some soil in the fall so that this will be ready to plant next year. But this is a worm tower. You put your compost in there, you drill holes in it, and it helps fertilize your garden beds. I know it's weird. I'll go over all of this stuff as we get further into the year. I know my garden's a hot mess. I totally get it, but it's mine, and it provides me food, and I love it. So that is it. That is everything for this crazy garden tour today, and we're just going to have some fun. This is going to be a totally casual channel, doing different things like cooking, preserving food, gardening, just life, going over the chronic illness and that kind of stuff. And yeah, we're going to be super casual here. So I'm going up my deck now, and I really should probably bring my dogs in. There's Greta. Okay, we don't need to see her peeing, but that is that's it for today. Oh, if you want to see my messy deck, I've got all sorts of stuff growing up in here. It's blueberry bush. I've got my towers, which have tons of Egyptian walking onions, strawberries here, some flowers that need to get planted, another tower with a lot of Egyptian walking onions. I had these out here so that I could plant, do my seed starts, and they're all mostly in the garden now. Let's see, we've got thyme, English thyme, and oregano here. I don't know if that's blackberry or raspberry. You know, I've got a bunch of different things here or there, but that's it. It's not fancy, it's not exciting, but I enjoy it. And now I get to go in and make breakfast for my family. All right, I will try to do more garden tours, more life stuff, maybe some cooking stuff, and we'll go from there. All right, see you next time.